Native Americans learned to survive in lands filled with venomous snakes not through strength or weapons, but through observation and understanding. They quickly realized that snakes did not actively hunt humans as many people believed. In fact, most snake bites happened when humans accidentally stepped on one or sat down where a snake was resting. With a strong instinct for self-defense, snakes only attacked when they felt threatened, not because they wanted to strike first. By understanding this, Native Americans replaced blind fear with caution and respect. The cold-blooded nature of snakes made their behavior predictable. In the early morning, when their bodies were cold, they were almost motionless. During the hot midday, they sought shade to hide. In the cool evening, they went hunting, and at night, they curled up to conserve heat. This pattern repeated daily, creating a clear activity schedule. Across the seasons, snakes followed distinct rhythms. In spring, they emerged hungry after winter dens. In summer, they hunted more during the cool evenings. In fall, they searched for warm shelters to prepare for hibernation. Such knowledge was built over centuries of observation and passed down through generations. Another crucial detail was that snakes usually avoided large, warm objects such as humans. Many modern people mistakenly believe snakes are attracted to body heat, but for snakes, a massive heat source signals danger. Thanks to this understanding, Native Americans knew when to be cautious and when to feel at ease. More importantly, they learned to coexist with snakes, not as monsters but as creatures simply trying to survive just like humans. If understanding snake behavior helped reduce encounters, the next step to ensure safety was preparing the ground before sleeping. For Native Americans, choosing and clearing a campsite was not just about finding flat land, but an art of survival. Thick grass, dry leaves, loose stones, or decaying logs, seemingly harmless, were perfect hiding spots for snakes. Thus, the first rule was thorough clearing, removing anything that could become shelter. This was done in daylight when snakes were less active, and the effort paid off with a night of peace. Beyond clearing, they devised natural barriers. A popular method was using campfire ash. Its rough texture irritated snake bellies, forcing them to avoid it. Circles of ash around sleeping areas acted like invisible walls, simple but effective. In many regions, they also built temporary raised beds. With tied branches or stretched hides, people lifted themselves above ground, the most dangerous place at night. Even crude platforms created a clear boundary between humans and reptiles. Campsite location was just as critical. Water sources attracted prey animals and thus snakes. Large shady trees also drew both people and snakes seeking coolness. Wisdom taught that comfort should never outweigh safety. Camps were set close enough to water for convenience but far enough to avoid becoming accidental neighbors with snakes. After understanding behavior and preparing the ground, Native Americans developed another line of defense: natural repellents. Through generations of trial and error, they discovered plants that turned campsites into no-snake zones. The most common were sage, cedar, and sweetgrass. Burned at night, these herbs released strong aromas and thick smoke. While pleasant to humans, the smoke overwhelmed snakes' sensory systems. Snakes rely on their forked tongues to collect chemical information from the air. When the air was saturated with pungent herbs, their senses were disrupted, forcing them to move away. Timing was crucial. During the day, wind could carry the smoke away, but at night, calmer air allowed it to settle like an invisible fence. Beyond burning, crushed plants with bitter or pungent oils were scattered around the camp. Some made snakes nauseous, others irritated their skin, and some simply smelled too offensive even for creatures that swallow prey whole. Campfire ash reinforced this system. Mixed with plant oils, ash trapped scents longer and added its own alkaline irritant. At the same time, food management was critical. Waste and leftovers attracted rodents, which in turn attracted snakes. By keeping food away from sleeping areas, Native Americans avoided inviting snakes to dinner. Together, layers of herbs, ash, and cleanliness created an environment snakes preferred to avoid, a natural barrier far more reliable than fear alone. Even after all these defenses, Native Americans didn't leave sleep to luck. They developed the unique skill of sleeping alert. This wasn't superstition, but training the brain's natural ability to remain partly aware during rest. With practice, they turned this into a survival tool, able to rest deeply yet wake instantly at danger. Distinguishing sounds was essential. Trained ears could tell the rustle of wind in grass from the slide of a snake. The quick, light scurrying of rodents was different from the slow, heavy, stop-and-go movement of snakes. Children were taught these sound signatures early, so even in darkness they could sense hidden threats. They also learned calm reactions. When awakened, children were trained not to startle, shout, or jump, actions that could provoke snakes. Instead, they breathed steadily and moved cautiously to assess. Calmness kept individuals safe and prevented panic across the group. Sleeping close together was another smart tactic. People shared warmth and vigilance, with some sleeping deeper while others remained lighter, switching roles like a night watch. Each person kept a stick nearby, not for striking but to gently nudge a snake away. Its placement was deliberate so it could be reached instantly in darkness. Beyond personal measures, Native Americans also built natural alarm systems, relying on dogs and fire as constant guardians. Dogs were not just companions but living radars. Their sense of smell, far sharper than humans, detected snakes long before people could. Their hearing picked up movements too subtle for human ears. Proper training was vital. Untrained dogs might bark wildly, causing chaos or attracting predators. The best dogs distinguished threats, barking at large animals, but growling softly or signaling quietly for snakes. This gave humans time to act calmly. Fire was the second guardian. A low-burning fire provided gentle light that helped eyes adjust at night and radiated heat that snakes avoided. Heated stones placed around sleeping areas stored warmth, forming thermal barriers snakes hesitated to cross. Balance was crucial. Too strong a fire risked accidents. Too weak, and it lost its deterrent power. Rules governed fire placement to ensure safety and effectiveness. Together, dogs and fire created a dual alarm system, an elegant harmony of humans, animals, and nature. With these allies, Native Americans found greater peace amid nightly dangers. Despite layers of defense, encounters with snakes were inevitable. In such life-or-death moments, the first few seconds determined survival. Instinct told humans to scream or flee, but these triggered snake strikes. Native Americans trained to remain calm, breathing slowly and moving gently to avoid cornering the animal. The long stick was a simple yet brilliant tool. Each person kept one nearby to guide snakes away rather than attack. Gentle nudging usually encouraged snakes to leave, since most preferred retreat to confrontation. When bites occurred, immediate action was vital. Native Americans used herbal remedies to slow venom spread and reduce tissue damage. They employed binding techniques to restrict lymphatic flow without cutting off circulation, focusing on slowing venom movement while keeping the victim calm and still. Snake encounters were handled communally. Some tended the fire, others prepared medicine, while others reassured children. This teamwork turned emergencies into manageable situations. From childhood, people were trained to stay calm with snakes, while adults regularly practiced first aid. Through preparation, discipline, and composure, Native Americans not only avoided needless deaths but proved that even against one of nature's deadliest creatures, humans could survive with knowledge and calmness.